Coulomb's inverse square law. So once again, so let us two magnets are separated by a distance d. Their positions m1 and m2. So from the Coulomb's inverse square law, their force of attraction or repulsion between any two magnetic poles is directly proportional to their product of their pole strengths and inversely proportional to square distance between them. So okay, combine 1 and 2 f proportional to m1 m2 by d square. So remove this proportionality symbol, introduce a constant k. K value is mu naught by 4 pi, the value will be 10 power minus 7. Then finally we get f is equal to mu naught by 4 pi m1 m2 by d square. So on the basis of this Coulomb's inverse square law, we can solve one problem on the basis of this Coulomb's inverse square law. They are given one problem. So this is the example. The force between two magnetic poles. Problem. Force between two magnetic poles separated by a distance d. Distance small d. In air. Air is F. Force indicates F. At what distance between them does the force become doubled? Read the problem. Force between two magnetic poles separated by a distance d, small d. In air is F. At what distance between them that the force becomes doubled? Okay, let us say in the given data, force F1 is equal to F in the first case. So in the second case, force between doubled, F2 will be 2F. In the first case, distance d1 is equal to d. At what distance between them? So d2, we should have to calculate the second distance. What is the relation between F and d? So from Coulomb's inverse square law, so F is equal to mu naught by 4 pi m1 m2 by d square. That means F inversely proportional to d square, or f d square is equal to constant. Here there will be two cases. F1 d1 square is equal to f2 d2 square. Okay, therefore d2 square is equal to f1 d1 square by f2. Substitute the values. d2 square is equal to f1 is equal to f, d1 square is nothing but d square, f2 is equal to 2f. Okay, cancel this f and f, then it becomes d square by 2. Therefore d2 square is equal to d square by 2, or d2 is equal to root 2 over d square by 2, or we can written as dt is equal to d by root 2. So this is the answer. dt is equal to d by root 2. Okay, once again, force between two magnetic poles separated by a distance small d in air is F. At what distance between them the force becomes doubled? Let us say initial force F1 is equal to F, final force it becomes doubled to F, initial distance d1 is equal to d. So what is the final distance? d2 is equal to, we have to calculate from the Coulomb's inverse square law. F is equal to mu naught by 4 pi m1 m2 by d square, or F inversely proportional to d square, or F d square is equal to constants. Here it's two cases. F1 d1 square is equal to F2 d2 square. From this we can calculate d2 value will be equal to d by root 2. Okay, this is the first problem. So next problem. Write down the next problem. If B is the magnetic field, B is the magnetic field produced in the center of circular coil circular coil of one turn of length of one turn. What is the magnetic field at the center of the same coil? At the center of the same coil, which is made into 10 turns. Here B is the magnetic field produced at the center of circular coil of one turn, only one turn. That means given data N1, number of turns, first case 1 turn. So next N2 will be equal to 10 turns. So, okay, what is the relation between B and N? Magnetic field and number of turns. They are given the formula B is equal to mu naught N I A square by 2R. This is the formula. From this formula, B directly proportional to N. So B directly proportional to N. From this, we can calculate B2 by B1 is equal to N2 by N1. Therefore, B1 will be B, N2 will be 10, N1 will be 1. Therefore, B2 is equal to 10B. This is the answer. So, B2 is equal to 10 times of the magnetic field produced in the first case. Okay, number of turns in the first case 1 turn, number of turns in second case 10 turns. Relation between B and N, B is equal to mu naught N A square by 2R. That means B directly proportional to N. Therefore, B2 by B1 is equal to N2 by N1. B2 we don't know. B1 value will be B. N2 will be 10. N1 will be 1. Therefore, B2 is equal to 10B. This is the second problem. Note down the third problem. If number of turns of a solenoid number of turns in a solenoid is doubled, keeping the other factors constant. keeping the other factors constant. How does the magnetic field at the axis of the solenoid change? Solenoid change. So read the problem. If number of turns in a solenoid is doubled, keeping the other factors constant, how does the magnetic field at the axis of the solenoid change? So the number of turns one will be doubled. Let us say, so B1 is equal to B, N1 is equal to, let us say N1 is equal to N. Number of turns will be doubled. That means it becomes N2 will be 2N. Find out the B2. So from the same relation, B directly proportional to N. So from this we know that B2 by B1 is equal to N2 by N1. B2 we don't know. B1 is equal to B. N2 is equal to 2N. N1 is equal to N. N becomes cancelled. Therefore B2 will be equal to 2B, because all other factors we need not to be considered because they remains constant. We have to calculate the relation between only magnetic field B and the number of turns N. A small magnetic needle is set into oscillation. Set into oscillation in a magnetic field B. Magnetic field B. So expression for time period. Let us say a small magnetic field will be try to oscillate in a external magnetic field B. So magnetic moment should be denoted with capital M. So angle is theta with making external magnetic field induction B. Okay, how do you find the time period in this situation? When it deflects due to external magnetic field, there will be some restoring torque. Torque should be denoted with the tau. It will be restoring torque will be equal to M cross B sin theta, where M is the magnetic moment, B is the magnetic field induction, theta is the angle between magnetic moment and magnetic field induction. So, okay, see the restoring torque, and due to this deflecting torque is nothing but I d square theta by dt square. Here I is the moment of inertia. So, okay, at equilibrium position, so both are equal and opposite. That means deflecting torque will be equal to restoring torque. That means I d square theta by dt square is equal to minus mb sin theta. Here minus sign indicates opposite direction. If for small angles neglect the sign, then the formula becomes I d square theta by dt square is equal to minus mb theta. Neglect the sign. Okay, from this d square theta by dt square is equal to minus mb theta by I. But from the fundamentals of simple harmonic motion, d square theta by dt square is the formula for acceleration. That means for acceleration formula is a is equal to minus omega square theta. In case of SHM, acceleration is equal to minus omega square theta. That means in case of d square by d theta, we should substitute minus omega square theta. So write here minus omega square theta. The formula will becomes minus mb theta by I. Here theta will be cancelled, minus cancelled. Therefore omega square is equal to mb by I. Therefore omega is equal to root 2 over mb by I. So okay, here m will be magnetic moment. Okay, then time period. We know the formula for time period. T is equal to 2 pi by omega from the fundamentals of oscillations first year. Okay, 2 pi by omega, T is equal to 2 pi by omega is nothing but mb by I, or 2 pi root over I by mb. Here I is the moment of inertia, m is the magnetic moment, b is the magnetic field induction, t is the time period. Once again, when we kept a magnetic needle in the external magnetic field and it try to oscillate, due to this oscillation it produces some deflecting torque, that is equal to tau is equal to mb sin theta. Here m is the magnetic moment, b is the magnetic field induction, theta angle between the m and b. So restoring torque will be equal to mb sin theta. Due to this deflecting torque will be produced in this needle, I is equal to d square theta by dt square. At equilibrium position both are equal and opposite. This negative sign indicates opposite direction. For small angles neglect the sign. Okay, but we know that d square theta by dt square from the first year. So this is the equation for acceleration. Acceleration formula is minus omega square theta. So finally we get the time period t is equal to 2 pi root I by mb. Here I is the moment of inertia. So m is the magnetic moment, b is the external magnetic field. So the relation between retentivity and coercivity by using hysteresis curve. So what is retentivity? Yesterday I explained retentivity means residual of magnetism. After removal the applied magnetic field, some ferromagnetic substances, they can able to remain residue certain amount of magnetism in their bodies. That is called retentivity. Coercivity. To reduce this retentivity will become zero, we have to apply the magnetic field in opposite direction. That is called coercivity. So this is the hysteresis curve between soft iron and steel. Generally, soft iron is mainly used for making permanent temporary magnets. That means this retentivity of the soft iron will be high. So while comparing with the steel, so they can easily magnetize it and they can strongly magnetize it. So while comparing with the steel, but coercivity of steel is more greater than that of the soft iron. So for making permanent magnets, steel is used. So generally, so this soft iron will be demagnetized more rapidly than the steel. This hysteresis curve uses also they are given. So what are the main uses this hysteresis curve? They are given some note down some of the points for making we have to choose the correct material for a specific purpose. So that is the use of this hysteresis loop. So for making permanent magnets, so electromagnetic core and transformer core, dynamo cores and chokes and telephone diaphragms mainly are making. So okay, mainly this hysteresis, the properties of hysteresis is this loop helps to choose the material for specific purpose. So okay, mainly for making permanent magnets and electromagnetic core, transformer core, dynamo core, chokes, okay, and telephone diaphragms are all the main uses of this hysteresis loop between the soft iron and the steel. Once again, soft iron retentivity will be greater than the steel. Coercivity of the steel will be greater than the soft iron. Soft iron will be strongly magnetized than the steel. For making temporary magnets, soft iron is generally used. So soft iron can loses the magnetic property rapidly, more rapidly than that steel. So what is the uses of this loop? So we can able to choose the correct material for specific purpose, mainly for transformer core, so dynamo core, chokes, and electromagnet core. Okay, so these are the uses, permanent magnets and electromagnet core. These are the uses.